Hello everyone, I'm Chloe,
And I'm Isabella.
and we bring you the Journaling Studio podcast.
In today's episode, we are talking about the journeys of the Odyssey to Jody from another podcast and our own personal interviews.
Starting with the journey from the story The Odyssey. The main character Odysseus travels back home with his men after the war they fought. Due to him and his soldiers upsetting the gods, going home wouldn't be so easy.
I found this quote said by Odysseus very interesting and says a lot about who he was at the beginning of the story. Cyclops, if ever mortal man inquire how you were put to shame, blinded, tell him Odysseus, raider of cities, took your eye. Later son whose home is on Ithaca. Homer lines 457 through 460.
I also found that quote very interesting. He was very prideful. So prideful that he shared his full name, the name of his father, and the address to the man he had just blinded. This displays the amount of pride he has.
I also noticed that his pride also led many of his men to death because of his vengeful actions of the Cyclops.
As time went on through the story, though, he wanted to make plans to protect the ones he loved. This is demonstrated when he makes the plan to take back his crown from the suitors and protect his son from being killed.
In the next journey, we will start to talk about a journey taken by a young Indian girl who bicycled across India to take her injured father home during COVID-19 in the year 2020.
She had come up with the idea of spending their last $20 on a bicycle she could ride with her father on the back of, with all their belongings attached to it. This was a 700-mile ride to get them home, sleeping on the side of the road at night. With her determination, she had done all these things.
After she brought her father home, she got offered to train for the Olympics just because she biked 700 miles across India for her father who was injured from a work incident at the moment. She was also 15 years old.
Not to mention all the items that she had on the back of the bicycle. The last journey we have to talk about today are our personal interviews. My interview was on my brother Chandler and his journey of becoming a pilot.
My very own personal interview was on Sergeant Pignon and his life in the Army.
Something I noticed about both the people we interviewed is that these journeys are about their jobs. My brother being his future, and your sergeant's life being in the Army. These journeys are still very different though. When I interviewed my brother, he talked about his school and what's happened to get him into who he is now.
And when I spoke to my sergeant, he was mainly talking about the name that he got from his achievements, which was the Terminator, and when he got deployed at the age of 17.
Those people are very different. They both learned a lot through these journeys. That's what this podcast is all about, how journeys have changed people's lives.
Well, that's a wrap. See you all in the next episode of the Journaling Studio podcast.